I never thought my own sister would be the one to destroy my life. But that's exactly what happened. Before we get into this story, if you love real life revenge tales where justice actually gets served, hit that subscribe button right now. You won't regret it. We've got stories that'll make your jaw drop, and trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next in this one. The rejection email came on a Tuesday morning while I was sitting at my desk, halfway through my second coffee. We regret to inform you that your auto loan application has been denied due to your credit history. I stared at my phone, confused. My credit history. I'd always been careful with money. I paid my bills on time, kept my credit card balance low, never missed a payment. There had to be a mistake. I called the bank during my lunch break. Hi, yeah. I just got a denial email for an auto loan and I'm trying to understand why. My credit should be fine. The woman on the other end typed for a moment. Let me pull up your report. Okay. Miss Chen, I'm showing a credit score of 512. My stomach dropped. That's not possible. It was over 700 last time I checked. When was the last time you checked? Maybe a year ago? But I haven't changed anything. I don't understand. More typing. I'm seeing multiple accounts and collections, several maxed out credit cards, and 3 personal loans with late payments. The total outstanding debt is showing around 47,000. The room started spinning. I don't have any of those things. I don't have 3 personal loans. I have 1 credit card and it's got maybe 800 on it. Mom, I'd recommend pulling your full credit report. You can do that for free at Annual Credit Report. Calm. There might be some fraudulent activity on your account. I barely heard the rest of the conversation. When I hung up, my hands were shaking. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop, going through every line of my credit report. And that's when I saw them. Credit cards I'd never opened. Loans I'd never applied for. All of them in my name, at my address, with my social security number. But the billing address for the statements. My parents' house, where my younger sister Jenna still lived. My phone rang. It was Jenna. Hey! So I need your opinion on something. Should I do ivory or champagne for the bridesmaid dresses? I'm leaning toward champagne because it'll look better in photos, but Mom says, Jenna, my voice came out flat. We need to talk. Okay, but real quick, what do you think about? In person? There was a pause. Are you okay? You sound weird. I'm coming over. Is anyone else home? No, Mom and Dad are at some dinner thing. Brad's at work. Maya, seriously, what's going on? I'll be there in 20 minutes. I drove to my parents' house in a daze. The house I'd grown up in, with the big oak tree in the front yard and Mom's garden gnomes lined up by the porch. It looked the same as always. Safe. Familiar. I didn't knock. I still had my key. Jenna was in the kitchen, scrolling through her phone, a glass of wine in her hand. Finally. Okay, so look at these. Did you open credit cards in my name? She froze. Just for a second, but I saw it. The flash of panic before she rearranged her face into confusion. What? No. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone and showed her the credit report. 3 credit cards, 2 personal loans, 1 line of credit, all in my name, all being sent to this address. Jenna's face went pale. She set down her wine glass. Maya, did you do this? Okay, listen, I can explain. So you did? I felt something crack inside my chest. You actually did this! It's not what you think. I was going to pay it back, I swear. I just needed $47,000. My voice was getting louder. You needed $47,000 and you thought stealing my identity was the answer. I didn't steal anything. You're my sister. I just borrowed. Borrowed? Jenna, I just got denied for a car loan because my credit is destroyed. Do you understand what you've done? She wrapped her arms around herself. I'm sorry. I really am. But I was desperate. The wedding costs are insane, and Brad's parents said they'd only pay for half. And I couldn't ask Mom and Dad because they're already helping with so much. So you ruined my credit instead. I was going to pay it back! After the wedding, Brad and I are going to. After the wedding, I laughed, but it came out bitter. Your wedding that's in 3 months. The one you've been planning for 2 years. That's how long you've been doing this, isn't it? She didn't answer. I pulled up one of the loan statements. This first loan, March 2023. That was right after Brad proposed. Maya, please. You've been stealing from me for 2 years, while I've been helping you plan this wedding. While I've been excited for you, Well, I thought we were close. We are close. You're my sister. I love you. You love me. I could feel tears burning behind my eyes, but I refused to cry. You don't steal from people you love, Jenna. You don't destroy their financial future for a party. It's not just a party. It's my wedding day. It's the most important day of my life. And what about my life? I was shouting now. I can't buy a car. I probably can't rent an apartment. I definitely can't get a mortgage. Do you understand that? You've made it so I can't live my life because you wanted an expensive wedding. Jenna's eyes filled with tears. I'm sorry. I'll fix it. I'll pay it back, I promise. With what money? You're a part-time yoga instructor and Brad works at his dad's dealership. Where are you going to get $50,000? I don't know. I'll figure it out. Just please don't tell Mom and Dad. I stared at her. You're worried about Mom and Dad finding out. They'll kill me. You know how they are. They should kill you. You committed fraud, Jenna. Identity theft. This is a crime. Don't say that. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Please don't say that. It's the truth, Mia. She grabbed my arm. Please, I'm begging you, don't ruin this for me. It's my wedding. I've dreamed about this my whole life. I pulled away from her. And I dreamed about buying a house someday. I dreamed about having good credit and financial stability. But you took that from me? I'll pay you back. Every penny, I swear on my life. I looked at my sister. Really looked at her. At 25, she still looked like she did in high school. Pretty, charming, used to getting what she wanted. Our parents had always called her their free spirit. They'd called me their responsible one. Now I understood what that meant. It meant Jenna got to do whatever she wanted while I cleaned up the mess. I need to go, I said quietly. Wait, what are you going to do? I don't know yet. Maya, please. But I was already walking toward the door. Behind me, I could hear her crying, calling my name. I got in my car and drove home in silence. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about every time I'd helped Jenna in the past 2 years. Every bridal shower I'd thrown. Every vendor meeting I'd attended. Every time she'd called me crying about seating charts or flower arrangements, and I dropped everything to help. The whole time, she was stealing from me. Around 3 in the morning, my phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Jenna told us what happened. We need to talk about this as a family. Come to brunch on Sunday. We'll figure this out. I didn't respond. Because right then, staring at that text, I realized something. They were going to ask me to let it go. They were going to ask me to forgive her. They were going to ask me not to press charges because it would ruin Jenna's life. They were going to ask me to sacrifice myself. Again. And I wasn't sure I could do it this time. Sunday brunch was at 11. I showed up at 11:15, which was petty, but I didn't care. When I walked in, everyone was already at the table. Mom had made her usual spread, pancakes, bacon, eggs, fresh fruit. Like this was a normal family meal and not an intervention. Dad stood up when he saw me. Maya, sweetheart, come sit. I sat across from Jenna, who looked like she hadn't slept. Her eyes were red and puffy. Good. Mom poured me coffee without asking. So, Jenna explained the situation. Did she? I didn't touch the coffee. It's obviously a mess, Dad said carefully. But we're family. We handle things internally. Internally. I repeated the word like I was tasting it. She stole $50,000 from me, Dad. That's not something you handle internally. That's something you call the police about? Don't be dramatic, Mom said, and I actually laughed. I'm being dramatic. I got denied for a car loan because my credit score is in the toilet. But sure, I'm the dramatic one. Jenna spoke up, her voice small. I said I was sorry. Sorry doesn't fix my credit report. We know you're upset, Dad said, and you have every right to be. But think about what you're suggesting. Pressing charges against your own sister? She committed a crime against me. She made a mistake, Mom corrected. A stupid, terrible mistake. But she's your sister. She's getting married in 3 months. Do you really want to ruin that? I stared at my mother. Do you hear yourself right now? You're asking me if I want to ruin her wedding. She ruined my entire financial life. It's not ruined, Dad said. Credit can be rebuilt. It takes time, but 7 years. I cut him off. It takes 7 years for this stuff to fall off my credit report. 7 years of my life where I can't get loans, can't rent a decent apartment, can't do anything that requires good credit. Because of her. We'll help you, Mom said quickly. Financially, whatever you need. I don't want your money. I want accountability. Jenna was crying now. I told you I'd pay it back. Every cent. I just need time. Time you spent planning a $30,000 wedding? $28,000? She mumbled. Oh, well then. That makes it so much better, Maya. Dad's voice was firm now. That's enough. We're not going to solve this by being cruel to each other. I'm not being cruel. I'm being honest. She stole from me for 2 years while lying to my face. I didn't want to lie. Jenna's voice rose. I felt terrible about it. Every single day. But not terrible enough to stop. You don't understand the pressure. Everyone expects this perfect wedding, and Brad's parents are so involved. And Pinterest makes everything look so easy, but it's not. Everything costs so much more than you think, and I just wanted one day where everything was perfect. Where I was the bride and everyone was happy and you were willing to destroy me for it. The table went silent. Mom cleared her throat. What do you want, Maya? What would make this right for you? I'd been thinking about that question all night. I want her to cancel the wedding. What? Jenna's face went white. Cancel it. Postpone it. Whatever. Use the money you were going to spend on the wedding to pay back the loans. I can't do that. Everything's booked. We'd lose all the deposits. Then you should have thought about that before you committed fraud. Maya, that's not reasonable. Dad said. The wedding is in 3 months. Family's flying in. The venue's paid for. With my money. It's not that simple. It is exactly that simple. I slammed my hand on the table and everyone jumped. She stole from me. She pays it back. If that means no wedding, then no wedding. Jenna was sobbing now. You're being so mean. I thought you loved me. I did love you. Before I found out you'd been stealing my identity for 2 years. Mom reached across the table like she was going to take my hand, but I pulled back. Maya, honey, I know you're hurt, but you have to think about the bigger picture here. If you press charges, Jenna could go to jail. She could have a criminal record. Her whole life could be ruined. And mine isn't ruined. Yours can be fixed. I stood up. The chair scraped loudly against the floor. So that's it. That's what you're asking me to do. Just let it go. Take the hit. Be the bigger person? We're asking you to be family, Dad said quietly. Family doesn't steal from each other. Family forgives, Mom countered. I looked around the table. At my parents, who were asking me to sacrifice my financial future to protect their golden child. At Jenna, who was crying but still hadn't actually apologized. Not really. Not in a way that meant anything. I need to think about this? I said finally. The wedding's in 3 months. Jenna said desperately. I need to know if you're going to. If you're going to do something. Do something. You mean press charges? She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I'll let you know. I left before anyone could stop me. In my car, my hands were shaking so badly I had to sit there for 5 minutes before I could drive. They wanted me to forgive her. To just move on and pretend it didn't happen. To show up at her wedding and smile in the pictures and be the supportive older sister. But I couldn't stop thinking about my credit report. About all those accounts in my name. About how she'd forged my signature on loan documents. About how she'd used my social security number like it was hers to use. And about how no one in my family seemed to think that was the real problem. That night, I did something I probably shouldn't have. I drove back to my parents' house when I knew they'd be at their book club. I still had my key. Jenna was at Brad's place. I went to her room, the room that had been hers since we were kids, and I looked through everything. Her desk drawers, her closet, under her bed. And I found them. Folders full of loan documents. Credit card statements. All in my name, all carefully hidden in a box under her bed behind her old yearbooks. I took pictures of everything with my phone. Every document, every signature, every piece of evidence. Then I put everything back exactly where I'd found it. When I got home, I spent 3 hours researching identity theft laws in Oregon. I read victims' stories on Reddit. I looked up criminal penalties. I found lawyers who specialized in family fraud cases. And I made a decision. I wasn't going to blow up at them. I wasn't going to scream or yell or cause a scene. I was going to play the role they expected me to play. The responsible sister. The family peacemaker. I was going to show up to the bridal events. I was going to smile at the rehearsal dinner. I was going to sit in the front row at her wedding. But I was also going to gather evidence, document everything, build a case. Because if my family thought I was just going to roll over and take this, they didn't know me at all. The next morning, I texted the family group chat. I've thought about it. I won't press charges before the wedding. We can figure out a payment plan after. The responses came immediately. Mom, thank you, sweetheart. This is the right thing. Daddy, we're proud of you for being the bigger person. Jenna, thank you. I love you so much. I promise I'll make this right. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I opened a new note on my phone and started a list. Evidence collected. Photos of all loan documents, credit reports showing fraudulent accounts, bank statements showing Jenna's deposits matching loan amounts. Next steps. Get security footage from banks, if possible. Consult with lawyer, don't tell family, to document all communication with Jenna about the fraud. Continue attending wedding events. Zai appear cooperative. I looked at the list for a long time. Then I added one more line. Wedding gift. I smiled for the first time in days. The next 3 months were the longest performance of my life. I showed up to everything. The bridesmaid dress fittings where Jenna complained about the seamstress taking too long. The cake tasting where she couldn't decide between vanilla bean and champagne flavoring. The venue walkthrough where she cried because the lighting wasn't quite right. Every time I smiled, I gave opinions. I played the supportive older sister. And every time, I gathered more evidence. I met with a lawyer 2 weeks after the brunch. His name was Richard Park, and he specialized in identity theft cases. I brought everything. The credit reports, the photos of the documents, bank statements, text messages where Jenna had admitted what she'd done. He looked through it all, his face getting more serious with each page. This is clear, cut identity theft and fraud, he said finally. Multiple felonies. With this much evidence, the prosecution wouldn't even break a sweat. What would happen to her if I pressed charges? Best case scenario for her, probation, restitution, community service. Worst case, 2 to 3 years in prison. And a permanent criminal record either way. I sat with that information. And if I press charges after a specific event? He studied me. The statute of limitations on this is 6 years. You have time. But I'll be honest with you, waiting doesn't strengthen your case. You already have everything you need. I know, but I need to do this my way. He nodded slowly. All right, when you're ready, we'll file. Just keep documenting everything until then. I kept going to the wedding events. At the bachelorette party in wine country, Jenna got drunk and hugged me, crying about how I was the best sister in the world and she didn't deserve me. She was right about that last part. Mom pulled me aside during the rehearsal dinner, 1 week before the wedding. I'm so proud of you, she said, squeezing my hand. I know this hasn't been easy, but you're doing the right thing. Family is everything. Yeah, I said. Family is everything. The whole time, I was thinking about the folder on my lawyer's desk, the one with Shen V. Chen, identity theft, written on the tab. 2 days before the wedding, Jenna called me, panicking. Maya, I need your help. The florist messed up the centerpieces and I need someone to pick up the replacements tomorrow, but I have my final dress fitting and the hair trial and... I'll get them, I said. Don't worry about it. You're a lifesaver. Seriously, I don't know what I'd do without you. After I hung up, I added another note to my documentation file. Subject continues to use me for wedding support while making no effort to pay back stolen funds. No remorse shown. The wedding day was perfect. Clear blue sky, 75 degrees, light breeze. The venue looked like something out of a magazine. All white flowers and twinkling lights and elegant table settings. I wore my champagne-colored bridesmaid dress and stood in the bridal suite while Jenna got ready, surrounded by her friends and mom. I'm so nervous. Jenna kept saying, but she was glowing. She looked beautiful, happy. I felt nothing. The ceremony was at 4. I walked down the aisle before Jenna, holding my bouquet, smiling at the guests. There were about 150 people there, family, friends, Brad's coworkers. Everyone dressed up, everyone excited. I sat in the front row and watched my sister marry Brad. Watched her say her vows. Watched them kiss while everyone cheered. During the cocktail hour, I made small talk with relatives I hadn't seen in years. They all told me how beautiful the wedding was. How happy Jenna looked, how wonderful it was that family could come together like this. I agreed with all of them. Dinner was a blur of speeches and toasts. Dad cried during his father of the bride speech. Mom dabbed at her eyes. Jenna and Brad looked at each other like they were the only two people in the world. Then came the gifts. They'd set up a table near the entrance for cards and presents. Most people gave envelopes with cash or checks. A few brought wrapped boxes. It was all very traditional. I waited until after dinner, when people were starting to dance and the energy was high. Then I approached Jenna and Brad at the head table. "Hey," I said, holding a wrapped box. "I wanted to give you guys your gift personally." Jenna's face lit up. "Maya, you didn't have to get us anything. Having you here is enough." I wanted to. "Open it. Now." She looked around at the party. "Yeah, I think everyone would love to see it." Brad looked confused but curious. "Should we get everyone's attention?" "That would be great, actually." Jenna stood up, and Brad clinked his glass. The DJ lowered the music. People turned to look. "My sister got us a gift and wants us to open it now," Jenna announced, smiling at the crowd. There were some awes from the guests. Mom was recording on her phone. I handed her the box. It was wrapped in elegant silver paper with a white ribbon. It looked expensive. Jenna untied the ribbon and tore off the paper. She opened the box. Inside were documents, lots of them. She pulled out the first sheet. Her smile faltered. It was a copy of one of the loan applications. With her handwriting, my name forged at the bottom. "What is this?" she whispered. "Keep going," I said quietly. She pulled out the next sheet. A credit report showing my destroyed credit score. Then another. Bank statements. More loan documents. All of them showing the fraud. All of them showing what she'd done. At the very bottom was a letter from Richard Park, attorney at law. Jenna's hands were shaking. "Maya, what are you doing?" "Read the letter," I said. She did. Her face went from pale to gray. Out loud, I added, "I can't." Oh, loud. "Jenna." Her voice was barely a whisper. "This letter serves as notice that Maya Chen is pressing criminal charges for identity theft and fraud." The room had gone completely silent. People were starting to realize something was wrong. Regarding approximately $50,000 in loans and credit cards opened fraudulently in her name between March 2023 and November 2024, a criminal complaint has been filed with the Portland Police Department. Mom's phone clattered to the floor. And civil proceedings for restitution will follow. The evidence has been provided to the district attorney's office, and Ms. Jenna Chen should expect to be contacted by law enforcement within the next 5 business days. Jenna looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. "You said you wouldn't. You said you wouldn't press charges." "I said I wouldn't press charges before the wedding. It's after the ceremony now. You're married. Congratulations." "What the hell is going on?" Brad grabbed the letter from Jenna's hand. As he read it, his face changed. "You stole from your sister. $50,000. "Brad, I can explain. You told me your parents gave you money for the wedding. You said they helped with everything. They did help. Some of it was. Some of it was stolen." He looked around at the guests who were all staring. "Jesus Christ, Jenna?" Dad pushed through the crowd. "Maya, what are you doing?" "This is your sister's wedding." I corrected. "It was her wedding. Now it's a crime scene? You can't do this." "I already did. The police have everything. The DA has everything. My lawyer has everything." Mom had made it to the table now, her face red. "How could you? Today of all days." She had 2 years to come clean, 2 years to pay me back. She didn't. So yeah, today. Jenna was sobbing. Please don't do this. I'll pay you back. Every penny. I swear." "With what money?" "The money you spent on this." I gestured around the room. The venue that cost $8,000. The flowers that cost $3,000. The dress that cost $4,000. All of it funded by my stolen identity. Brad was still staring at the documents. "I need a minute. I need to think." He walked away. Just left Jenna standing there in her white dress, crying, holding evidence of her own crimes. The guests were starting to murmur. Some were leaving. Others were taking out their phones. "You're ruining everything!" Jenna screamed at me. "This was supposed to be the happiest day of my life! And you ruined my entire financial future. I guess we're even now." "Girls," Dad's voice was sharp. "Both of you stop it. We're gonna fix this." "There's nothing to fix, Dad. It's done. I filed the police report yesterday. The rest is up to the criminal justice system." Mom was crying now too. "You're tearing this family apart." "No," I said, and my voice was steady. Jenna tore this family apart when she decided her wedding was more important than my future. I'm just making sure there are consequences. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. In her expensive dress, her professional makeup, her perfect hair, she looked exactly like what she was, someone who'd gotten everything she wanted without ever having to pay for it. Until now. I hope it was worth it, I said quietly. The venue, the flowers, the open bar, the band. I hope it was worth destroying your life over, Maya. She reached for me, but I stepped back. Don't. We're done. You're not my sister anymore. You're just someone who committed a crime against me. I turned and walked out of the reception hall. Behind me, I could hear chaos erupting. Jenna crying, Mom yelling, Gwes talking loudly. I didn't look back. In my car, I sat for a minute letting the adrenaline fade. Then my phone buzzed, a text from Richard Park. Document everything from tonight. Photos, videos, if anyone sends them to you. It'll help the case. Already on it? I replied. I drove home and changed out of my bridesmaid dress. Then I opened my laptop and started writing down everything that had happened, while it was still fresh. 3 days later, 2 detectives showed up at Jenna's apartment. She was arrested for identity theft, fraud, and forgery. Brad filed for annulment the same week. Mom and Dad stopped speaking to me. They said I'd destroyed their family. That I was cruel, that I could have handled it differently. Maybe I could have. But I didn't want to. The criminal trial took 8 months. Jenna pleaded guilty to avoid prison time. She got 3 years probation, 200 hours of community service, and was ordered to pay full restitution. Every penny of the $50,000, plus interest, plus my legal fees. Her criminal record meant she lost her job teaching yoga at the community center. Brad's annulment went through. She had to move back in with our parents. My credit is slowly recovering. It'll take time. Richard said about 3 years to get back to where I was. But I'm getting there. People ask me if I regret it, if I wish I'd handled it differently, if I feel bad about ruining her wedding. I don't. Because every time I think about that day, I remember standing in front of 150 people and watching my sister's face as she realized she wasn't going to get away with it. I remember the moment she understood that actions have consequences. And I remember walking out of that venue knowing that I'd stood up for myself, that I hadn't let my family bully me into taking the fall for someone else's crimes. Was it brutal? Yeah. Was it fair? Absolutely. Jenna wanted her dream wedding. She got it. It just came with a price she wasn't expecting to pay. Thanks for watching this story. If you believe in real consequences and actual justice, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss our next revenge story. Drop a comment below telling me if you think Maya went too far or if Jenna got exactly what she deserved. And if you know someone who needs to hear this story, share it with them. We post new real-life revenge stories every week, and trust me, they only get crazier from here. See you in the next one.